Hello everyone, myself Mamta and welcome to my YouTube channel Piecharts. So today we are going to learn about Matplotlib. So what it is, where we are going to use it, how we are going to use it, all these things we are going to discuss it. So watch the video till the end. So what is Matplotlib? Matplotlib is a low-level graph plotting library in Python that serves as a visualization utility. So basically it is a plotting and visualization library which is a great tool for visualizing the data. So why we need to visualize the data? You know, right? So instead of checking each and every column, if you visualize it in a graph, it will be very easily understandable, very easily for analytics and all. So for the sake, we want to visualize the data, and for that we are using Matplotlib inbuilt function. We can draw all kinds of plots with Matplotlib inbuilt functions like bar graphs, histograms, line graphs, scatter plots, stem plots, and a lot more. So for using it, we need to import it. I am import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. So what is this pyplot? This pyplot is a submodule of Matplotlib library. So it consists of a collection of functions and methods that are used for plotting a simple 2D graph using Python. So Pyplotlib can be imported using Matplotlib. So that's why we are importing it both together. So matplotlib.pyplot as plt. So instead of using the whole name, I'm using an alias name plt, and I'm importing numpy also. And coming to a simple plot, this simple plot, what it will do, it will draw a line from point to point. So we just need to give some data points, x-axis points and y-axis points. These were the data points. Only 2 points I have given in both. Okay, and between these 2 points it will draw a simple line. So let's see. Before that I will do this. Okay, so a simple line it is drawing, and if I want to check the data points also, so where the first point lies, where the second point lies, so what I will do, I'll give marker is equals to, okay, this data points, we can change the data point how it appears. It is simple dot like, right? So if I want to give star, we can change it. We can change the line pattern also. Instead of a normal line, we can use dotted line. All things also we can do. For all these functionalities, you just need to go to this. After this plot, there is a parenthesis, right? So before that, place your cursor and then press Shift Tab, and then you can see all the things what we want. Okay, what and all are the basic things that we need to give, the arguments we need to give. That means x and y data points. All these things, what and all, we have other functionalities that and also we can see here. What is this BO? Using blue circle markers. So only this R plus, same ditto with red plus signs. So let's use this R plus, and we'll see what happens. So it is R plus, right? So I want to give marker and all. Only simple red plus signs we got, right? In the same way, just try it out when you find time. It will be very easy and interesting also. You can learn many things. If I want to draw subplots in the sense, in a single screen, if I want to draw multiple plots and check the data, check multiple data at a time. I mean, in a single screen only I want 3 or 4 plots. Okay, for that we call it as a subplot. I am using plot 1. For plot 1 I have given some data points x and y, and I am using plt dot subplot of 3 parameters will give. So one is rows, number of columns, and then with the plot number. This is the first subplot that I want. So number of rows, number of columns is the plot size that we need to specify. So if I want 4 plots, that too in a 2 rows and 2 columns, as 2 rows and 2 columns, or we can simply check the 4 plots in a single line also. It depends upon your requirements. So, and then I'm plotting x and y points. I'm giving a title called sales for this subplot. So why I'm giving a title? To differentiate it, and we can easily check out it, right? So which plot is which one and all. In the same way, I'm giving 2 data points for a second plot also, and then giving a subplot parameters with rows, number of rows, number of columns is same, but as this is the first plot, I am using this as second plot, and in the same way I need a third plot and fourth plot as well. I am just changing the titles so that we can differentiate the plots when we saw it. And I have a super title function as well to define a super title. For whole graphs there will be a super title which will be placed on top of all the graphs. Okay, when I execute it, you can check. So this my shop is a super plot, and this sales is the first subplot, this income is the second subplot, sales 2 is the third subplot, income 2 is the fourth subplot. So this is how we want. So if we want all the four graphs in a single plot, so what I will do, number of rows is 1 row and 4 columns, right? And here also it is 1 row 4 columns, and in plot 3 also 1 row 4 columns, and plot 4 also 1 row 4 columns. Okay, when I execute it, you can see all the 4 graphs in a single line, one after the other. Okay, this is how we will change it. You can check some other functionalities of subplot also using, as I said, place the cursor before the brackets and then press Shift tab. Okay, if you want any extra features, that we can check it from here. So when you find time, try all the things. It will be very interesting and you can learn many things from these things. Okay, and coming to scatter plots. So scatter plot, so let's check the basic difference between why we use a plot and then a scatter plot. So a plot is any property you apply, color, size and shape of the point, it will be applied across all the points, whereas in scatter plot you can control in each point's appearance. Okay, so what for basic thing why it is used is, it is used to show how much one variable is affected by another variable. Okay, so if I, for example, if I take height and weight, so how height is affected by weight or weight is affected by height, so that will be, in that point of time we can use scatter plot to draw. Here I am randomly taking some 13 numbers, and the same way x and y data points, some random numbers, and I am simply plotting it. Okay, these are the data points. So how the data is, that we can check. If I want to compare between two data, that is age and speed of the cars that they are driving. So age and speed of the cars, and I want to check how this data is and how this data is in a single graph. So if I plot it in a scatter plot, let's see how it is. One second. These are all the extra parameters I have given. So this is how our graph looks. So what are the extra parameters we can use to decorate this graph and all, we can see it here. This x and y are the data points, s is the size of the data point, c is the color of the data point, marker is how the data point should arrive, like is it like a dot or star or a plus, anything you can. The same way, these are all the extra parameters, line width, edge color, all these things. Alpha is the transparency. So some points I'll use. So if I use size is equals to 200, for a blue point. So the blue point size got increased, right? And if I give alpha is equals to 0.5, so the data point become transparent, right? So this is how we can decorate it based on our requirements. So the basic thing we use it for is to check how much one variable is affected by another variable. So coming to bar plot, a bar plot helps to compare different sets of data among different groups easily. So here we can use the categorical data and we can check how we can compare it, basically how different sets of data among different groups was distributed. So it shows the relationship between two axes, in which categories in one axis and discrete variables or discrete values in one axis. So okay, if I plot it simply, so the categorical data one side and the numerical data one side, and we are just comparing it, how where the A lies and B lies and C, D, all these things we can see using a bar plot. There is a small similarity between bar plot and a histogram, but there is some difference. So let's check the histogram first and then we'll jump into the difference between them. A histogram is basically used to represent data points in the form of some groups. Some groups, in the sense it will divide the data into bins. So only X variable we are using. We are not using some X and Y data points. So the Y will be the bins, the group of groups that I'll say. It is an accurate method for graphical representation of numerical data distribution. So it is basically used for a numerical data distribution, how the numerical data is distributed. So it was mainly used for that. So it is a type of bar plot where x-axis represents the bins range and y-axis gives the information about frequency. So if I execute it, you can see, so it is similar to bar plot, but there in bar plot we have some gaps between category to category, right? But here it is in the form of bins and no gaps between the bars. Okay, these x-axis are called bins. So 140 to 150, 150 to 160, the bin size is 10. These are the bins, and this is the frequency of the data, how it arrives. Okay, this is how it is. And the basic difference we need to check is both are graphical representation of data only, but in bar graphs it is a graphical representation of categorical data using rectangular bars where length of each bar is proportional to the value they represent. But in a histogram it is a graphical representation of data where the data is grouped into continuous numbers range and each range corresponding to a vertical bar. Okay, and coming to pie charts. So what is a pie chart? It is a circular statistical plot that can be displayed only one series of data. So I have some labels over here and I want to check how the data is distributed among them up to the whole data. So if I assume that it is distributed, if I check given this, okay, this is how the data is and these are the labels, names of the data. Okay, so this is how it is, and we have a lot of functionalities over here. If place the cursor before the bracket and then press shift tab, you can see all the extra functions, labels, colors, autopack, all these things we can see, shadow effect, all these things we can see. Okay, an advanced thing, I will show you some example. We can do some lot of things. It is simply like a very simple graph, right? So I'll use some extra features to make it an extra beautiful graph. So I used explode. Explode means it will show the it will pick the very huge part outside. Okay, that and all, and a shadow, it is showing a shadow, and some ledger it is showing, right? Ledger type of data it has, all these things it is showing. Okay, So this is today's topic. Hope you like my video, and if you like the content in my channel, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.